Welcome back everyone, my name's Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Disco Elysium. Where we left off last time, we were becoming garbage pickers. We are literally the homeless people in a lot of major cities, picking bottles out of garbage cans. What's that? There's a thing here. Enormous bulls worthy of a real man. I see. Some great tectonic forces cracked the pavement like an eggshell. So this is the car again. We've talked to her. There's a couple people down here to talk to, actually, so we'll talk to this woman first. Let's take a look what she has to say.
Step right in. The store is open.
A young girl with chubby red cheeks waves at you, smiling. Her nose is also red from the cold. I am the law.
I know, sir.
She stomps her feet to feel warmer.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
What kind of a store is this, anyway?
It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
I see. I'm just going to move my microphone 1 second, in case it makes a sound. I see. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl. What's a book?
That is a book.
She points
They
at...
have stories inside them. It's like someone told you a story in a really long letter.
She points at the stands. What's a postcard?
A postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved.
What is a board game?
Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several different ones, but sailors here mostly buy cards.
Interesting. Thanks.
My pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know?
Is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
What is your name? My name is Annette, sir. My mom, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organizing the stock. The girl glances at the window, then suddenly jolts, her eyes wide, as if recalling something. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. And you're standing out here in the cold because... I'm signaling that the store is open, she nods eagerly. Otherwise people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. I should have a word with the store owner, maybe. Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help Mom by luring in customers. She stands upright and smiles like a little soldier. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep me warm. Shouldn't you be at school or something? I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mom keep this place running. Isn't going to school more important than this? Mom says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mom says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed. There is stress and unease behind those words. She's reciting etiquette. How's the business going? Mom says it's PG. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being... She looks over her shoulder. Cursed. Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking and twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders. Cursed in what way? Cursed in a way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... She's looking for the right word. Bankrupt. Exactly, but we've been doing fine so far. This sounds rather serious. I should look into this. I narrow my eyes and look through the creaking boards on the window. We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case, but I don't see much more to look into here. The lieutenant makes a note in his notebook. Yes, she chirps. Please do look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games you asked about are also there, sir. What do you know about the other failed businesses? Nothing really, sir. Mom doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. She looks a bit disappointed. I don't really know what's there. How does this curse manifest itself? It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's appropriate to stand out in the freezing weather. Fine, I'll show you. The girl looks back and forth between you two. Anything else you wanted to know? I stroke my chin. Enough about the curse. For now. Annette looks at your shaved, prickly chin. It distinctly contrasts with the oily mutton chops that surround it. May I tell you about some of our books instead? What is this crime business? Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals. Wait, crime is not fiction. Or sorry, wait, not crime fiction. I need to know what crime is. She doesn't know what to say. Is that bad? I point to my head. Crime is a deviation from the law punishable by either civil or criminal sentencing. It's what the law prevents. Why would anyone want to read about crime? It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine dangerous things, and it's kind of like a puzzle, where you can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to catch them. I'm a policeman myself, by the way. The law, as I said. You don't look like much of a policeman. She examines you as if to find something policeman-like. Huh, well, what does a cop look like then? I didn't mean to offend, sir. I'm sorry. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen. She points to a book cover on which you see a strapping Vespertine officer. He stands grimly over the body of a dead woman. It's not your body that's important in police work anyways. It's your... I point to my head. Head, yes. No, your mind. Not head, child. Heads. A quicksilver mind. This Mullen guy looks like he needs 4 hours to come up with a single idea. She gazes at the image of Dick Mullen, frowning. No, he's wicked smart in the stories. Sure, when the author does all the thinking for him, real policemen have to think and act on their own. Like you, sir, of course, she smiles mischievously. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for you. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. The cover image of Dick Mullen seems to stare at you with harsh disapproval, like in the books. Alright. We will try to do something. The girl keeps her hands folded and hidden. Why is that? Hey, why do you keep your hands folded? What do you mean, sir? She looks wary. You don't need to be worried. I'm here to help. Or you don't need to be worried. I'm here to help. She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. She doesn't want to show them. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest. It's okay, you heard me. Or it's okay. She brings out her reddened hands. Her nails are frayed, nearly chewed to the flesh. You bite your nails. And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? She shoots you a suspicious glance. There were a few other hints. Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that. Her eyes flash with defiance. She's not impressed. One more? I bet I can figure out why you bite your nails. I got a few reasons in mind. She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic. You're uptight because your mom and the pressure she's putting on you. Maybe so, sir, she sighs. Okay, I know it's a bad habit and I shouldn't. Dismay flickers in her eyes. Either way, another ace deduction by the #1 detective in town. It was okay, sir. She's still got a rebellious streak. There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same. You think so? Fine. Do better. Deduce something about me. You're quite sober, she snaps back quickly. The lieutenant doesn't flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching. It takes effort. I am also sad and my head hurts. I'm sorry, sir. She looks you in the eye, sympathy gleaming in her face. I hope things get better soon. There, she stands swaying on the breeze, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She smiles at you. The whole situation suddenly feels familiar somehow. There's something you're missing. Where you might not be able to do this one, but it is a white one. We can come back to this if we don't succeed. There's something you're missing, because you know each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before. Hang on, so you know me? We've met before? Yes, I stand in this spot all the time. She sways back and forth on her feet. You've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir, telling people about being a star or something. I don't really understand who those stars are. Did I ever talk to you? Of course, you stopped by a few times. She looks at you intently. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. Thanks, I'm trying. Yeah, I can see. You don't have the party eyes anymore. The lieutenant slowly, ever so slowly, realizes something. Party eyes, yes, of course, that makes sense. I'm not surprised children have seen you running around with party eyes on, he thinks. Not at all. Party eyes? You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed. She giggles at the thought. It's certainly an odd look on a man. The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict, that's what she meant. You're probably gurning, too. Fuck yeah, you should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy. Does that mean I've been partaking in narcotics? Oh, baby, that's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing. Why didn't you tell me you knew me to begin with? I didn't know I had to do that. She looks puzzled. Thanks, I've learned something about myself today. Glad I could help, sir. She smiles, a wide, helpful smile. What is romance? I shouldn't talk about that with children, but whatever. It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. She smiles at the thought, perhaps imagining herself in that situation. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's all about a man and a lady business, sir. What about a poor man getting a rich lady? It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process, or should actually be rich himself, but he lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something. I see. Those are unhappy books for most of the pages, people sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns around fine in the end. What about when both of the men are bad? Those are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. No one wants to read a story like that. What if it's written really well? Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either because she doesn't need a bad man. Yeah, that'd be interesting. What about when everyone's poor? That's not really a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life. Sometimes you have to write about real life things. Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice, pretty people. Everyone's happy in the end. What about a book where the man and lady business doesn't work out at all? I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mom. Yeah, you think she has one about an excruciatingly painful breakup? I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though. She pauses, trying to figure out the appropriate answer. No, think about it. One where they plunge into a torrid spiral of pain and recrimination. Only it's really long and drawn out. Scarred for life. Phantom limb. No? I don't know. She looks at you with puzzlement. Doesn't ring a bell? Alright, I'll ask your mom. Yes, she nods relieved. She knows the books, definitely. What was that? An idea for an unfinished novel stuck somewhere in your forebrain? It's enough romance for me. Who are these famous people? Oh, kings and queens, generals of old, artists and writers, musicians, those kind of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. She scratches her cold, reddened cheek, then continues, I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame. Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them. Reading those doesn't make their readers more famous, does it? But it does make the famous people more famous, she smiles gleefully. Fame sounds delicious. Maybe someday I will write a book about me one day. Or maybe, yeah, maybe someone will write a book about me one day. Why would you do that, sir? Because I'll be a superstar cop, in the papers and everything. That'll show 'em. That's so cool. Maybe they'll make a book cover and everything, standing over a dead body, holding a gun. Okay, bye, see you around, Annette. Well, I'm not super high anymore, so, there's a very muscular man surrounded by flames on the cover of that book. This one has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. A book about pate. This book, you don't really understand what it's about, nor does it seem important. A book about Boadero culture. It promotes freedom and roaming upstream. A book about the future. The government reads your minds using radio technology. Grim. I guess we can go inside and take a look at the boarded up window part. Maybe there actually is a curse. We should go take a look. There's the mother. Old sports magazines tucked away in a dark corner. The book collects the national recipes of Arda. They're all about lake trout. Trout's not a bad fish. There's a lot of bookshelves and stuff too. A quaint picture book brochure, very colorful. It's a tome of fascist magic. Rather candid. Alright, what do these do? Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinde, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez. Let's look at the map of Insulinde. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Icelandic Ocean? Icelandic Ocean? Yeah. The largest in the northeast is Lakayu. You are here. Another far away in the southwest, Semines Islands. Ile de Phantom. What else? Ozon, Laurentide, Bas-la-Mer, sorry. Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Icelandic. On the edges of the map, the color fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white, disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north corner coast of Caillou. In a bookstore. It's you. I squint first. Can you see cities on the islands? You can. On Caillou, Revachol, a single black star. On Ozon, Fond de l'Air and Vermandu. On Archipelagos, Croyant, Moraine, Villiers, sorry. On Seminin, I can't say that word. Olduvai, and on the Laurentide, Diora of the Seven Seas. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history. Let's look at the edges. The ocean breaks apart in a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing to a pale nothingness. Mundi is the north azimuth, Grad is the northeast azimuth, Samara is the east azimuth. Sol is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. Connections to other worlds. Words past the... It's supposed to be worlds. Worlds past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away. Perhaps they are gods. Gods of distance and outer dust. We didn't get the checks on those ones, but that's okay. They were almost impossible. Let's look at the map of Revachol. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It's the river Esperant. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. The delta sits a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs of Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity. They sound rich to you. This is Revachol east, and west of the river, Cloron. It's somewhere to live, not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It is bad. The people shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Felborg. It's almost as bad and much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst. You feel you're just west of Coal City, somewhere above Jamrock and close to Coal City. Let's look at the map of Martinez. It's not really a map, it's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48. Storekeep, can I buy these maps? I'm sorry, officer, the map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore, and besides, you can scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look at it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. Why is the one of Martinez so cheap? That old thing? It's out of date. A map of tourist locations that never was nor never came to be. From when the design studio people tried to spruce up the place 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up the coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps. The place does not look like a successful tourist trap, does it? What happened then? They didn't get far, for some reason. A shame the project never got up. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business. We could steal it or buy it for 0.9, which is actually quite a lot. We can try and steal it. Slowly you move your hand towards the map attached to the board. Before you even reach the map, you're interrupted. Lieutenant coughs sharply and whispers, "Perhaps not. It's against RCM policy to defraud small business owners." Damn it, you're ruining my fun. I'll steal it later. This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature. Let's look through the shelf. Amidst the various books you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, and balance. These three things are very important to the working class mind. The point of the book, and many others on the shelf, is to give medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services. How does that work? It serves platitudes, while telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind that people don't have access to, which costs more than this book, is garbage and would only give you cancer anyways, without even curing your cold or anything. Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything, though it is important to note, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place. Does it say anything else? The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from, how to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver, and there's even a chapter on the ancient Cerisi tradition of using duck gallbladder to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing worth buying. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this? Let's try to find something super unnatural. The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at the shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pale. What's the Pale? The book contains very little explanation on the matter. The knowledge seems to be taken for granted. What's the book about? The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the Pale, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near Pale. Sounds invigorating. It is, and good for the circulation too. What else? It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the Pale. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the Pale and leave them there for 30 to 60 days depending on the potency desired. And what does this Pale aged liquor do? Among other benefits, it's alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health. That seems improbable. Should probably get my hands on some of that. What else is in there? For general health and well-being, the readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pale. Through the sidebar cautions, though a sidebar cautions readers limit each stroll to less than an hour. The strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions. This is exactly what you need. Anything else of note? There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations. I probably need that. Excuse me, sir, I believe you've been perusing that particular volume long enough. If you continue reading, I must insist that you buy it. That's most of my money. But I kind of want to know about the pail. We'll come back for it. It's too expensive right now, but we will be back for that book. Another boring book just discarded there. Alright, let's go talk to her. See if we can figure out about this curse thing that's going on.
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance.
The clerk extends a hand in greeting.
Welcome. And please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
So are you the owner of the store?
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
Her voice is high-pitched, as if to give more penetration. The girl outside mentioned that this place is cursed. Cursed? Who said that? Annette? She blinks. I'll have a word with her. This place is not cursed. It has a robustly magnetic energy. Good for commercial activity. My business is thriving, sir. What in God's name is she talking about? Your daughter's the one standing outside the store, right? Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in the science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post, doing her job like a proper girl? Yes, of course. Wonderful. Did you talk to her? Yes. Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her? I'm not going to grade a human being. I don't do that. Come now, it's not personal. It's about proper sales practice and market research. She crosses her arms. I expect an answer. 10. She's certainly polite and helpful. My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. She's immensely satisfied with the answer. If you have children, I hope they can turn out as great as my Annette. All this pressure has made her really anxious. You know she's been chewing her nails? God, ugh, I told her not to do that. It's a disgusting habit. Her voice is firm. She'll get over it. Anxiety's part of life. I don't think she can do anything about it. She can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing pains. Life isn't easy. Life doesn't give any breaks. Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You're placing an unnecessary burden on a young child. That is true and obviously the will of the market, but maybe make an exception for your daughter. She stands stiff and severe, silently fuming. 10 seconds or so pass without change. She's looking for one, but there simply aren't any good arguments for being an asshole. All of a sudden she exhales sharply. Her shoulders slump down. Oh no, she mutters. Hold on, I need to invite her inside and apologize. She must be freezing out there. There, she returns with a nod. I don't know what to say. My husband, he tries to teach me business lessons. I have what my mother calls a dull mind. All this stress. She stops, but her mouth keeps moving. She told me she doesn't go to school anymore. Plaisance nods. She's been too busy helping me here, so she studied at home this trimester. This is a temporary solution, of course. I assure you, I of all people understand the importance of education. She'll be back in school the moment the store takes off. And hell freezes over? Never mind, it's not a good topic to get into. Is this husband Annette's father? Yes, my husband is a successful entrepreneur east of the river. If only he were more involved in the business we're running up here, she says gloomily. No matter, soon we'll be both off for Grand Coron. Wait, Grand Coron, what's that? It is a proper place to live, one of the most peaceful neighborhoods east of Jamrock. You may know it for its massive housing projects. Most of the buildings are empty at the moment. Her smile is wide. It's a great opportunity to get ahead of the crowds. Better times ahead for sure. And your husband's also involved with the bookstore? He made the initial investment. Since then, he's been what you call a silent partner. Super silent, almost inaudibly so. Is she an only child? Yes, I'm afraid so. A real treat she is. It'd be nice if she had... She pauses for a second. No, we couldn't afford more children, really. Not in this economy. A glimmer of sadness blinks through the well-crafted exterior. Why not? We're quite busy people, you know, my husband and I. Quite busy. Her voice wavers a bit. Children are a lot of work. You don't look like a father, so I don't expect you to understand. She catches herself at an impoliteness. I'm sorry. I'm sure you do understand. Alright, I have something else in mind. The woman looks aloof, her features much softer. Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette. Very well. At least the daughter's inside now. Let's save. Let's actually save. Because I don't know how this quick save works if we die. Let's go no cancel. Let's call this. I didn't do a save at the beginning. Whoops. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
Placence calls out from the counter. I pull open the curtains. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice of the shop owner cries out once more. Sir, don't touch that! I told you it's off limits for the customers! Her hand is closed around her pendant, her fingers nervously playing with the talisman. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequences. Is it too dangerous? She looks away mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people? This is about the curse, that's why you're afraid. No, it's just a storeroom for the employees. I told you, now please step away from the curtains. She's almost begging you. Ma'am, this is different. I'm a police officer. I need to get in there. Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. She stops abruptly as her hand flies over her mouth, baffled by her own bluntness. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so impolite. Please just don't go in there. I can't allow it. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers. The curtains do seem frail suddenly, not robust enough to contain a slippery darkness. I don't care. You can't stop me. I'll open them. No, she raises her hands to try and stop you. Please, just talk to me, officer. Come here. Let's talk this through before you decide to do something extreme. Talking is always good. Go see what she has something to say. There is something mysterious about the curtains. Be careful. Alright, shopkeeper. What's behind the curtains? Nothing. Why aren't you browsing the books? She fiddles with her pendant. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? You ought to. She speaks almost like she's trying to put a spell on you, urging you to buy more books. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. I examine the cage-like trinket. You see some sort of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straws. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eyes stares at you. From the look of it, it's a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, and curses and other supernatural scourges. Who are the Seminese? Inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme, the Seminin Islands down south. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there's nothing else to do with the fish head charm this time. The curtains remain shut before you. Alright, let's go talk to her one more time. And then we're gonna go rip that open just to see what happens.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Why are you so uptight about those curtains? I want to know what's on the other side. I already told you it's just a storage room for employees. I don't understand why it's so important to you. Just let it go, officer. Go buy some goddamn books. You're supposed to be drawn to the books. She recites it like it's a poem where she's playing a role she's grown tired of. She's so tense, it's a miracle she hasn't snapped in half yet. If it's just a storage room, why are you so tense? I'm not tense, I'm just... She wavers under your gaze, mouth pressed into a tight-lipped frown. Then something breaks. Okay, fine, it's because this place is cursed, just like Annette said. They don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing. Are you happy now, officer? Happy you've ruined everything? She closes her eyes and starts mumbling something into her pendant. Host of hosts, she prays, guard me and protect my honest business venture from the curse that lurks behind those curtains. How's the curse manifest itself? A shiver runs through the woman, and she looks around the dimly lit store. The curse is so much worse than you can imagine. It's a disease eating at the very foundation. Her voice drops to a whisper. It is the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy. She peers at the curtains again. Didn't the curtain just move? Okay, I'm a little confused. What does that mean? Everyone knows that all the previous companies in this building have either sooner or later declared bankruptcy, and their malicious spirits are still here feeding off bad business practices and disappointing income statements. There's something wrong with this building, I tell you. Ever since I arrived, I sensed an eerie lingering presence as if I was unwanted here. Why didn't you just tell me right away if it's a curse? It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail, the negativism. It's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them. Wow, void wraiths, you have new words. Have you sought help from anyone? Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists, even a pair of Seminese mediators. They provided me with the wards. She nods at the strange cage-like trinket on the curtains. The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us from the darkness that lies further in the building, even though now I fear it's not enough. Is your pendant part of the ward as well? Point to the necklace. Oh, this? She holds the pendant in her palms. Its ochre heart glistens under the lights. No, it's a special Chemian amulet, blessed by a desert pygmy shaman with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books. There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with different inducement spells. For example, she nods. It's guaranteed to boost sales 15%. Desert pygmy shamans? That sounds like a rather questionable way to describe a group of people. Would you like me to take the case? I can investigate, see if the curse is real. Most certainly not. I don't want anyone who's not familiar with the psychic arts to get involved in this mess. Stay away. Leave the spirits be so they can return to their slumber. My liege, you know what this case calls for? A paradetective. I will convince her to let me do this. Slither up to her, you silver-tongued fiend. Show her what a world-class perfidy looks like. Wait. Or sorry, ma'am, I came here to help. I've handled paranatural situations before. Are you sure? She looks skeptical. I don't think I haven't seen charlatans before. I sense the psychic emanations from afar. The sleeper beyond calls out. She shudders. I'm not sure I can trust your claims, honestly, but you look like a bit of a drinker. I'm sorry for being so blunt, but the lieutenant keeps his usual stony calm. He silently picks out his notebook. Go ahead, then rock her world, he thinks. I'll compose some notes. I admit I've had my share of drinks, but only because the spectral realm is parapsychologically taxing. How do you know all this? Here we go. Your wards brought me here in the first place. The 70s blood also runs through me. You're part 70s? Oh, it means our meeting couldn't have been mere chance. The hand of fate guides us. But I'm not the only one at risk. I have to think of my daughter. You're certain you can help us keep us safe? I can't allow any collateral damage to hit us. No problem whatsoever. Your family is safe. The phantoms are no match for me. She shuffles nervously. If you promise, good officer, then you might be our last hope. Do you swear it? She pauses. On my honor. Thank you, sir. A timid sigh of relief, followed by a cautious smile. There's one more thing I haven't told you about the entity. Do not be surprised. You know of these things, sir. The entity. Yes. A malignant entity that lives inside the chimney. It takes the form of a woman. A witch, most likely. She or it must be connected to the curse somehow. Chimneys aren't big enough for that. No, this chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. She's barricaded herself behind some metal security curtains. God knows what she's doing there. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what happened to all the companies in the building. What is the source of this curse? Here's the key to the warded door behind the curtains. Take it. Oh, and please do return to me after you've looked around. I'm quite anxious to know what she has to say about the curse, and what you discover there. Unbelievable. Darkness and ruin. What you discover, probably just some office space. Don't be scared. Alright. Guess we're ready to go, but we're at the end of our video. So we're going to call it here. In the next video, we're going to take our bag of bottles, and we're going to go into the next room and see what we can do. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Others, I'll see you all next time.